Thank you very much for attending this webinar. A very good evening to all of you. My name is Paul here. Very good to see a lot of participants here on this webinar. What we'll be having today, I'll be sharing with you more about this GAP method that I'm helping a lot of my clients to upgrade their portfolio, their property portfolio. But it's not only about buying properties or selling properties as per se. But what is it all about? Okay, today you are here. Okay, I will share with you what you will learn today. There will be training slides that I'm going to share with you today. So as I prepare the slides, yes, here I am at the corner. Okay, goody, good. Thank you very much. Okay, for those who are here on time, really appreciate that you have taken the time today, and it's a lovely evening. You could have been resting, probably just finished your work out there, but I hope you all have rest and settled now. In the next at least an hour or an hour and a half, I'll be sharing with you some of the methods that I personally use to help my clients, and more importantly, for my own family, that I have used this method to help my own family progress in our own property asset, and more importantly, is also to test this method onto my own self, that I know that it worked, and also for you to understand some of the pitfalls that potentially that you may have overlooked, as there will be a GAP, very clear-cut, step-by-step methodology that you can learn today and you can apply onto your own property asset. Or for those even without properties, it is the best time for you to be here today. And the fact that the asset progression, for those who have heard, is not just buying a new launch or upgrading your property. To really progress, there has to be a very clear term, a clear mid or long-term plan that you want to have, which I will also share the model for you to define your goals using the GAP method that I will be talking to you about today. Okay, before we begin further, just to let you know this disclaimer, strictly please, no recording or any photo taking. If you want to know more about it, there will be a Q&A at the end of the session, and you are advised to, in fact, prepare a paper and pen if you want to write down notes that I'll be sharing inside, because I'll not be giving out the slides. But at the end of this webinar, there will be a PDF book, a PDF page that I will send to you as a summary of today's webinar. So stay tuned with us, hang in there. I will go through step by step with you all, and I hope you all can take it away as much as possible for today's webinar. So disclaimer, please, all these are all due to my own personal experience, and they are methods that have been tested and proven. But when it comes to investment, of course, do your own diligence and always work with a professional. The intention of this webinar is meant to help you learn as much as possible. It's not meant to be the holy grail of investing, but do stay with me. I will guide you all through step by step that you all can understand better about your current situation. So I want to hear from the ground right now. A lot of people talk about the asset progression. You have heard about this buying new launch or buy this property. Confirm, confirm can make money. True or not true? Okay. For those who are listening right now, if you have heard about, do you fully understand about asset progression? Maybe you can type a 1 inside the group chat. Or for those who want to know more about what this asset progression is about, is it just merely about selling a property and buying a new launch? Or maybe you're not sure what a lot of people are saying and you get a lot of different ideas what is it about. Maybe you can type a no that you're here to learn more. So let me understand what's your view on the ground. For those who understand fully what is it about and want to learn more, yes, you can type a yes. And for those who are clueless at this point of time or not so sure what this asset progression is about, you can type a 2, so that I can get a feel of how the level of understanding that tonight's participants are. Okay, good. Thank you very much. And I want to also let you understand. Today we are talking about investment, and especially coming to property. Is property really the right vehicle for you to make money? Or many of you think might be that, okay, now that I know property is a very good vehicle for us to increase our wealth and in terms of the passive and capital appreciation, but is it about buying new launch or resale? Confirm just buy any property, confirm can make money. Or you are still skeptical about property and its asset growth. Maybe you can type a yes if you are very sure property is the right vehicle for you. Or maybe you're not sure whether property is right for you or not. You can also let me know. Okay, there's options for you all to choose from. So I just hope this webinar can be as interactive as possible so that I get understanding on the ground. So also for you all to encourage me to keep talking. Otherwise, I'll be talking to a screen here. So I also don't know where you all are at. So thank you very much for participating. So why am I here talking to you today? Okay, when it comes to asset progression, many people think that there's only one path that home buyers have to go down. It makes it like a very simple question that should I pursue in my own property asset journey or should I not? Okay, the question, the biggest problem right now is not whether you should or should not upgrade your property. What else more important here today? Okay, don't do anything other than just writing down notes today. Okay, I want you all to. Can I agree with? Can I share something that it is important for us to fully understand what we are in for before we take any action? And that is why I'm here today to tell you and to educate you all more about asset progression. So, like what we understand is, okay, today let's say some of you got a HDB. Okay, you might have heard agents or maybe even consultants or even friends and investors online telling you, okay, sell your HDB, go and buy a new launch. Okay, nothing wrong with that. But do you know that if there's a lack of proper planning, there are clients that I heard on the ground calling me after they made a purchase, tell me, oh, I want to sell. I know the property is making a loss, but I know I have to sell within the seller stamp duty, the 3 years period. But because I'm in heavy debt, I have loans that I miscalculated that I cannot service, and there's no choice but to sell, lose money, and move on. And as we do know that property is something that is not easily liquidable, because right now the government is implementing a 3 year seller stamp duty period, which means the moment you commit to a property upon exercise, you cannot sell the property within just 3 years, or you can, but there will be tax involved in selling the property. So in a way, we can say that property is not so liquidable, not like stocks that you can today buy and sell tomorrow. But in fact, in over this, okay, I will not be sharing too much about why they are putting in this 3 year time period, but generally is to make sure that property is something that is stable in the long term, that you appreciate gradually, but not an asset that you buy and speculate. Because the days of speculating in properties are over, which makes the property grow very stable. So that will be another topic that I'll covering. But today, I just want to let you all see that if we fail to plan, there are consequences of us ending up with heavy debt, loans that we cannot service, or maybe even worse, have to sell the property, lose money to sell the property. And this is something that I hope by the end of this webinar that you learn and you avoid all these mistakes. I'm going today. You will hear me talk a lot about this gap method. Gap, GAP, gap. What is this gap? In fact, it's very simple. I personally, we came up with this gap method is to bridge the gap between the high net worth individuals, the mindset that they have to use property as a vehicle to grow their wealth. And today, as an average Singaporean, I want to also bridge the gap. But first, to bridge the gap in terms of the mindset that they know something about property that we don't. But today, as we learn and we know, we can apply onto our own specific situation, regardless of whatever property we have or don't have. We can learn about this gap method and apply it to our own family situation. Okay, this is where I'll be going in depth of the gap method. So stay with me. For those with pen and paper ready, you can just write down this gap method that I'm going to go into detail with you all. So as we see right now, this gap method here, okay, let me just put myself aside. The gap method will be it's a very clear-cut framework to help you make decisions so that you can create generational wealth for your family as a priority. So how this asset progression is viewed is that when you go down into the three portions, goals, your asset, and your property of choice, which will be covered at the last part, many people make the mistake of going too early into choosing a property first, which should never be discussed only until the end when our goals and assets are clear. So, what is the ultimate aim of this gap? Is for all of us, including for I myself, to have early retirement so that I can have money for my generation wealth because I'm a family as well. It's important for me to plan for my future generation, to have asset that appreciates in capital over the years, and most importantly as well to have the mid and long-term stability. Because today I am 40, I'm in my 40s. I want to be financially free and my asset stability before I reach the age of 55. And this is something that I want to aim towards, and I want to apply and use this GAP method on myself that has worked, and also for many of my clients that I share with you all, that you all can use it. So first thing first, okay, write down ready your pen and paper. First thing first, I want you all to talk about the goals. Your personal goal first have to be identified. Other than the end game, what model of asset progression do you belong to? In fact, most of us belong to either one of these three asset progression model, which I will be covering in depth. The leverage capital appreciation model, one. Number two, accelerated decoupling. And number three, that is a generational wealth accumulation model, okay, which some of us may fall into, but probably not all, because that will be under those with landed properties. So let me go in depth with the goals part first of the GAP, the GAP model. First part. Okay, the big difference before we go further is that the gap between the high net worth individuals and those who achieve their wealth goals is because of they have a tested and proven method with 90% accuracy. When you apply the GAP method, you can be able to achieve your generational goals much easier. So why I say that before we go there, before we go further, I want you all to understand this first. Like some of the commonly asked questions by home buyers is that, like for the first one, like my client was asking me, what is the market trend for this property? Because they were thinking whether they can sell at a higher price, which I will advise them what is the trend going on at this current property, so that they can understand whether the price that they're asking, is it too high or too low, or whether is it worthwhile for them to hold on to their property. This is something that I do as well. And for this another client also who's looking for dual key freehold, very specific. But when I did the study, a GAP model with them, they realized that there are actually more options. Who wouldn't want to have more options, right? Because today our end game could be this. But instead of looking at this specific vehicle to reach our end game, why not have a few more options that possibly we can accelerate that process to reach our end game faster? And also what I do for my clients is as well calculations, very detailed calculation like this one. The last example was that they never thought with this kind of income, it was possible for them to own a private. Okay, many people feel, in fact, a handful of people still feel that with this amount of income that it is very difficult for them to take a first step into their private property, which is not true. Because the calculation for HDB loan versus a private loan is very different. Okay, and these are the kind of questions that I help my home buyers answer before they make a property decision. Okay, the main reason what they are getting is that because they don't have a full picture. Okay, so today for those who are listening here, who wouldn't want to have a full picture of what they are going to plan for? So when you have a full picture, or at least a clearer picture of what your end game is and what are the options that you can explore using asset progression property as a vehicle to get you there faster, you will have a path that is very clear with many options as the market changes. And most importantly, you have right information as you're being led down to a path. Okay, personally, I've been in the industry for more than 13 years. So today, asset progression, I am very proud and very happy to be walking this journey with my clients, not only for the property owner, but also together with their family. And some of the testimonials which I will share later on is that from them, some of the, like for example, this Mr. Wong, who eventually owned an EC and slowly upgraded to two private. And today they are the proud owner of a landed property. And I've seen how their family grow as well as today as they are planning to buy properties for their children. And it's an amazing journey to be with them on this asset progression journey together with their family also. So for those who are family members over here, for those who are starting a family as well, I do wish that if possible, that I can be part of your journey to walk this journey with you. So for me, what's my story like? Okay, for me, it start off, where do I get this passion, this profession? Why do I choose property? Oh no, by the way, I started off as an engineer, and it was only until the 6.5 years of my engineering journey that I decided that property is my true calling, and it is a profession that I can really experience the passion of serving people on the ground. So how did it all started? Because I mean, my mom has only a primary 4 certification, and my dad was a technician. What do they know about property, right? So I'm very appreciative that they have taught me well in terms of they themselves set an example for their own property journey. And as the saying goes, I may not have a rich dad, but today it doesn't give me an excuse not to be one. Okay, when I'm talking about being a rich dad for my children, it's not about having money for them. It's about having the attitude of growth, attitude of wealth, the wealth mindset that I have in real estate that I can pass down to my kids. Because today, I think many of us are being challenged in terms of the sandwich generation, where I cannot imagine if today I still have to take care of my parents financially, and being the sole breadwinner of my family, I have to take care of my kids and my wife. It can be very stressful to be stuck in between, where I'm obligated to give, at the same time I'm stressful to take care, and that leaves very little for myself. And I think a lot of Singaporeans and a lot of locals, especially living in Singapore, where the standard of living is higher, we can relate to the kind of stress that we are going through on a day-to-day basis. And when I was an engineer, thinking about it, let's go back to my parents' story. When they started off uh, buying their first BTO at Block 914, now this is my old house there, here, this one, the old house still there. And my mom was talking to my dad about progressing, because the three of us, by the way, this photo, this is the okay, no price. I'm the eldest of my two brothers. My two brothers are twins, so it's three boys. My parents have to take care of three boys, not easy. And my mom was always urging my dad, after the 5th year of the MOP of the HDB, to upgrade to a private where we can all have our own rooms each, at the same time have proper capital, because there's no way that we can survive by having a HDB itself without any other property asset. Because my dad, as a technician, he can calculate his pay taking home. My mom was doing freelance then, and it was very difficult to make ends meet. So over a 1 year discussion, initially my dad wanted to retire and said, "Hey, I want to just fully pay my HDB and retire. Why take care of the children? Because my grandfather, his dad didn't pass down any property to them." But my mom begged to differ. Of course, I love my dad very much and my mom very much as well. Eventually, after a 1 year discussion, they eventually upgraded to a private property, okay, and they sold off their HDB. And over a period of 22 years, today, I'm very proud to say that my mom and dad, they are both financially free. They both own about 3 properties each. And I think the less stressful part is that I know I don't have to be always financially taking care of them. I give money when I want to, not because they need money, but I give money because I believe I'm a good son to give money to my parents. But what I learned more about that is that the property journey, that after, as a result of selling the HDB, acquiring one property, a second, and a third one, using the capital appreciation of each property that is appreciated to continue to buy another one. That is something that I learned from my parents. And today I apply the same principle, the GAP method, onto my own case study that I can be proud to share with my clients. And as a result, my clients grew in terms of their asset, and of course my own asset as well, that I'm buying my third property today. So I'm very, very blessed as well. So thanks for listening to my own story. But today, what I learned from my parents is that even with low education, you can plan to accumulate the wealth through the next generation through real estate. And today, my mom, who bought the property, the condominium in Tampines, that's almost fully paid, it's not about the greed and the lifestyle that they want. It is about the sustainability long term, as they know today, private property in any situation is always safer to own and to fully pay for it, because eventually the kind of savings, imagine a HDB fully paid 400,000 versus a condominium 1.6 million. Which property do you want to eventually retire with? And the scary part is that today I went back to check on the valuation of this unit that my parents used to own at Block 914. when they sold close to 330,000, today the property is only worth 390. Over 22 period, 50,000, my friends, 50 plus thousand for 22 years. Today, they have a million each in terms of the property asset, which I don't want to share too much. Later, they scold me. Okay, they are someone who doesn't want to share too much. But I know my parents allow me to share this because I am very proud that they have led by example through wealth accumulation in real estate. That's where I learned from them. So right now, back to us. What are we buying for ourselves? Are our kids able to learn from us? Not only in terms of passing down the wealth to them, but are our kids able to learn this wealth attitude, this wealth gap method that they can apply onto themselves, that they can take care of their own property asset in the future to live a comfortable life? And I'm not talking about the life of luxury, rich or famous, a comfortable life where they can have sufficient, a good standard of living for their own self. Okay, for those who just tuned in, thank you very much for staying with me. My name is Paul, and this is I'm looking forward to the next vacation. I know now cannot travel, but it's okay lah. I mean, we try to find joy in spending time with the family. Not easy to stay at home. I know with the work from home and home-based learning. So that's why me and my wife is an agent as well. She's also a very savvy property investor, and we often discuss property investments. So these are my two kids, 6 and 8 years old. Yeah, this is a vacation. So, okay, not about this. I just want to tell you is that many clients who know me as someone who walks the talk. Because personally, when I encourage clients to go on asset progression, I myself walk the talk. I am someone, okay, for those who know me longer, some of my old clients old friends are in this webinar, possibly. They know me as someone who walks the talk, and I never recommend any property that I don't believe in when it comes to helping portfolio upgrade. Because today, over the past 13 years as an agent, if I don't have the confidence to help you buy something to appreciate, how am I able to continue this relationship 5, 10 years down the road to help you and cash for a profit? Because as I deal with the clients that are from all walks of life, over the years, the ultra wealthy, the high net worth individuals, they share with me more about their property mindset. And that's why I create into a system, a very simple gap system that you can apply onto your own self. And voila, we are ready to start the asset progression journey. So first thing first, we have to understand that the market is moving. Despite the pandemic that's going on globally, I like to believe as a Singaporean, Singapore is very optimistic. Our recovery is ongoing strong, not only in terms of property, and I hope the pandemic and the COVID count continue to improve, and we always do, and we are always resilient to fight together to win the battle. And as a reason, there are a lot of locals, in fact, a lot of local buyers seizing this opportunity because of bank low interest rates and stable property market. They continue to upgrade, and that is why there is a very healthy jump from the last quarter of landed 6.7% and private properties up to 2.5%. But what's more amazing is that take a look at this. These CEO, high net worth individual, buying good class bungalow, 40, 50 million. Do they know something that we don't? And being ranked one of the ultra wealthy Singapore, the interest among Asia, there are so many high net worth individuals continue to trust and have 100% faith in Singapore real estate. And that is where they put their money where their mouth is. And this is something that is very assuring because as these high net worth CEOs, individuals continue to trust in Singapore real estate, for me, this gives me a lot of confidence as well. So that being said, how can we use this gap method to create wealth accumulation for ourselves? Because as an average, everyday Singaporean, I want to use this gap method to improve my lifestyle in terms of the real estate investment, And when the gap is big, that is where I can bridge the gap. But you see, the big difference is that there's really not much difference between the both the average income earner, one applying the gap method to accelerate their property asset, the other one who didn't do so continue to live a mediocre life, and there's nothing wrong with that. But the fact is, remember when I shared the story of imagine if my dad today fully paid the HDB and didn't upgrade, both my parents would be left with only a fully paid HDB of close to 400,000. But today, why do they have more than 4 or 5 times of their wealth? It's because of the wealth mindset that they choose to continue to progress and upgrade. As I continue now, as I'm going into the GAP program, this is not for everyone. Because today, for those who want to learn the GAP method, are those who want to upgrade and progress in their life. Having said that, this GAP method has helped a lot of my clients upgrade their property. Some of them, they continue to trust me and they ask me advice on the properties like the Mayfair. They ask me whether this is the right project to go in, and I did a full analysis of the project with them. And by the way, every project has different potential at different season. So let's not jump into any conclusion and ask the question of which property is good. In fact, our question has to be very detailed and specific. And when you do the GET method, the way we question what's next will be very helpful. So if I go further, okay, what you will learn in the next, I will try to cover as much as possible this GET method as I usually go through with my clients on a one-on-one basis over a 2-hour period on the GET planning. I'll try to cover as much as possible in the next 45 minutes, and that is where you will learn as much as possible the GET method. And very good. And this is where I want to help you to understand the GET method protection as well. Okay, let me stand by for those who got pen and paper. Stand by to take down notes, because I'll be covering the GET method right now as I'm going into in the next 45 minutes. Okay, good. So far, so good. Everybody all here, still awake. Yeah, just want to drink some water because I'm going into the session right now. It can be a bit dry, but I'll try to make it as detailed as possible for you, because we cannot miss out any details in terms of this GET planning. So when we talk about the first G, goal, we all fall into 3 categories of asset progression model. So I want you all to identify the first G right now, the goal. The goal is this end goal or early retirement and your own capital appreciation. But what is the model that you belong to? Let's take a look at the first model. Okay, the 3 asset model that most home buyers fall into. The first one is the leverage capital appreciation. Okay, leverage capital appreciation is a very simple model where, okay, how many of you, by the way, in this webinar right now, owns a HDB property? Let me know. Okay, for those who own a HDB property, you can just type me. Okay, if you are shy, it's okay, no problem. For those who are listening in, okay, if you are staying in a HDB and your HDB is already MOP, means the 5 years mark is already due, or nearing the MOP, pay specific attention. This leverage capital appreciation model is very important for families, because today, first thing I would like to help you identify yourself as one of the leverage capital appreciation model, because for you to use your HDB, you've got to understand whether your HDB value in the market, whether there is a potential gain of how much, or whether there is a loss that we can actually look at it to exit, cut loss, and upgrade. Because at the end of the day, we do not want you to have an asset that is eventually depreciating over time. We want to help you upgrade to something that has a more gradual appreciation. There are some clients which I help you all, for those HDB, especially those who bought during the BTO season. There's a good opportunity that you have 150,000 to 300,000 gain. And all these extra gain, we can use it to help you upgrade from the property itself to another property without a very minimum cash upfront. That's where we will do detailed planning with you all. And most importantly, as we do that, there will also be a spare cash reserve fund planning for you during the GAP, the GET model, under the asset planning part, that I will help you to plan for reserve cash so that you have very minimum risk and most importantly, feel secure even when you upgrade. Okay, this is the first leverage capital appreciation model. Okay, the second model I want to talk to you about. Okay, let's pause here for a while. So for those who have any questions, please write them down. You can key it inside the group chat so that during the Q&A session, I can help you identify. The second model will be the asset progression model number 2, which is the accelerated decoupling. Okay, this model I do a lot over the past season. Okay, no doubt is because when 13 years in the industry, for the first 5 years, my clients have already upgraded to a private property, and they are happily sitting on the private property. Over the years, their private property have appreciated, and that's where they have new needs. Their new needs can be they want a bigger house, or they want to leverage on how can I make more rather than sitting on one property. Okay, and that's where we call this accelerated decoupling, where in most common cases, husband and wife both own one property, and how can I use the other name to exit to buy a second one? Or possibly even, okay, let me share more with you in depth. Okay, for those who own private property here, these are best for those, after I do a review, the private property that has already asset growth, we can help you find another one with potential to asset growth again. And as a result, if possible, maybe over the year that you have a higher income and you have accumulated some healthy savings for you to upgrade, is it as easy as, oh, Paul, should I just keep my one and buy another one to upgrade and rent out the other one? Or should I just sell this one and just buy another one? So all these questions will come in later when we do a proper review or where you are at as you identify your own asset progression model. Then from there, we create options for you what to do. Because as I mentioned from the start, asset progression is not a one-way journey, but it's a series of options for you all to explore along the mid to long term. You see this? Okay, that's where our strength is to help you pick properties with the right potential. Not necessarily it must be new launches, it could be resale market as well. But today we are very focused on this asset model. Okay, I'm not selling anything today. I'm here purely to educate you all the model and what is the characteristics of this model. So there are possibilities as well to help you encash your property without selling. Yes, there's a model as well. We call it the term loan method to help you encash. And we eventually, the end game is to help you have two properties, both working hard, with one with passive, active rental income for you. And both have to be ideally focused on getting them fully paid so that you have property, so that you can retire in ease, and also at the same time, both continue to have capital appreciation. That is the end game. That is the end game for both of you. And as we speak right now, for those who are keen on this end game to have two private properties fully paid and the other one giving you active rental income. If you like that, please just type inside the group chat, me. If you want that for yourself, just type in the group chat, me. And I want to type myself as well because I am eventually also working towards that. Okay, no problem at all. For those who are still listening in, okay, continue to stay with us because this model is also very important. I would not ask a show of hands those who are staying in the landed because as far as my clients are concerned, most landed owners are a little bit more shy and conservative. They don't want to share that, but it's okay. Okay, and I want to share this generational wealth planning building is because there are clients who are in their later years and they start to think, how can I help my future generation to start their property journey early? Because today, if let's say I'm in my 50s or 60s and my children are getting married, do I want them to walk down this HDB BTO path where the earlier date that they could sell their BTO is probably another 10 or 11 years later? As we do know right now, COVID has taken a toll on the construction. The waiting period for BTO has increased significantly from 4 to 5 years to maybe even 6, 7, or 8 years and beyond. We don't know. There's a lot of uncertainty. So that is why, okay, I'm not here to talk about the market trend, but it is very obvious that the resale market trend, including HDB and private property as well, has increased significantly because people just want the space and move in. Okay, the waiting time is just too long for anybody to wait. So the generational wealth planning for those in landed properties, it could be also for you that you want to upgrade to a bigger landed for your multi-generation needs, maybe your Like for me right now, my in-laws have upgraded. Eventually, we are all staying under one roof, and it's a multi-generation home that we are staying. That is a plan. And for those who want to do that as well, is this the right time for you to do that? Yes, we can plan for you too. And other stocks and investments, I don't want to talk about all this. But today, if you have all these other assets that's with yourself, can I encourage you to talk to me so that I can plan for you how you can build this for your future generation in terms of a trustee. Use the trustee concept to purchase the property where the property owner buying their first property without having to pay an ABSD. This is the planning that I do for my clients, okay? Because legacy planning, we don't want to just pass the money down to children. Okay? It doesn't make sense. I don't feel safe as well to give them money. But if I were to leverage on their ownership to help them start their property journey early, that is a very common way of how a lot of landed owners help kickstart their children on property planning first. Because once you can help them kickstart this, years down the road, all they have to take care is to take care of their monthly maintenance. Because today I'm thinking, are my children in the next 15, 20 years able to afford a landed property? Maybe not landed, or even maybe even a condo in a good location. Can they be able to afford that? Looking at how inflation is and looking at how property continue to appreciate. If today I can do something to plan for their well-building and their legacy, why not? This is something that a lot of those clients who are, as I mentioned, who owns landed asset, they want to start planning for their future generation. And once you identify yourself as this model, there are the A and the P strategy that I want to continue to talk about, because right now I'm only talking about the G, the goals. Okay. So quick check with you. Okay, now that I've covered 3 asset progression model, so just want to check the first model, leverage capital appreciation, HDB to condo. Okay, number 2 is the accelerated decoupling from a condo to a bigger condo or 2 condos. Or 3, from a landed to purchase another condo or to upgrade to another landed. If you have identified yourself as either one of these models, let me know inside the group chat which model do you belong to, whether it is 1, 2, or 3. Just let me know so that I have an understanding, so that I can preach, I can share the right model more in details with you all later on. Okay, good. Thank you. Thank you for your shares. So let's now, right now, I'm going into the asset model. Okay, the asset model is something that we want to be very prudent. That's why we came up with this 5 CPF method. Okay, what is this 5 CPF method? Okay, first thing first, okay, I want you all to write down the goals that has been done right now. I'm going to the A, the gap, A, the asset. And the asset planning, I will use this 5 CPF method right now that I'm going to show you. Okay, this 5 CPF method is not how you use your CPF. It's critical property factor. Okay, and personally, I do this to help families become very safe and certain before they move into their property choice. Because can I say, today, you're buying a property that is possibly the largest and biggest asset of your life. You wouldn't want to buy into something that you feel stressed every day, wouldn't you? So that is why the 5 critical property method. First thing first, I need to tell you all, never go into the property first. Never choose your property first without first understanding your goal. And that is where we talk about the progress. Okay, today, the progress that you want has to be as clear as possible. Do you want to eventually still upgrade to a bigger condo or a landed? Or are you okay with HDB fully paid? Okay, or what is your end game? Your progress has to be clear. So when your progress is clear, then we can identify how long the period that you are going to hold your property. Because today, if we are buying a property to keep for 10 years versus 5 years, it can be a very different strategy to choose a property to appreciate within 5 years and exit versus a property that you keep for 10 years. It is very different. So when you identify your progress and we will look at the manner, the duration of your holding in terms of the property. How long do you intend to hold this property for? Then from there, I will help you plan for your cash reserve. And that is where the payment and the budget in terms of making that property purchase comes in handy. If you see the earlier slide that I've done, with your annual income, with your annual or monthly income, I can able to help you to do a detailed analysis of how much the loan that you are eligible for and what is the property price that you can be looking at, plus extra spare savings for your rainy days or even other investments. Okay, so once all these numbers are done properly, the progress is clearer. I'll walk this progress together with you, and then we'll identify the timeline for the duration of the holding for the property. And from there, what's next after with the budget in hand? We then look at the potential of the specific property that you are looking for. Okay, maybe if you are not clear of where to buy, what to buy, it is also okay. Because from there will be another 3-tier protection that I will help you in terms of the property choice segment that I will help you identify. Okay, so let me stay here for a while. Okay, I just want to recap these 5 critical property factors. Okay, write them down, please. Very important, write them down. First thing first, number 1 is the progress. What is the progress that you have in mind that you eventually want to have? Very similar to your goal, but once you identify the asset progression model, then you look at the progress that eventually what you want to have. So for me, example, my end game is eventually have a landed and a condo for investment. So that's my progress. So from here, my period is I want to retire by 55. So I have a 14 years runway to plan. And within 14 years, I want to be able to upgrade at least 2 to 3 times. So every property that I choose have to appreciate within the 5 to 7 years. From there, I plan my own personal budget as well, what I intend to buy next. Then I will go into the potential of which district or project that suits my needs. Okay, these are the 5 critical property factors. I hope that you write them down. Okay, if you have questions, no worries, please write them down inside the group chat so that I can attend to them later in the Q&A. Okay, so right now I come to the most important part, which eventually, finally, then we talk about the property of choice. Okay, let me take a drink here. So when we go into it, by the way, I'm not selling any properties today. I'm showing you the model. Okay, so this model, get model, eventually when we reach this P, the G is the goal, A is the asset, and P is the property choice. The property of choice also goes down to 3 selection criteria. How you can choose the right property with minimum risk. So when I talk about minimum risk, I'm also balancing the consideration that your lifestyle is uncompromising. So not just buy a property for the sake of appreciation, but also with the possibility that you all will stay and enjoy the lifestyle and benefit of the location too. So we will strike that balance. So when we go into the property choice, okay, continue to take down notes. Okay, the 3-tier protection when it comes to choosing a property will be first the pristine. Okay, let me go into the chart. The pristine. The pristine means the district. Which district has the most potential today? So if you ask this question, let's say 15 years ago, which district has the most potential? Nobody would expect Marina Bay area to flourish until the way it is today. But right now, coming back to 2021, everybody is talking about the Greater Southern Waterfront or CBD rejuvenation. So does it mean that buying anything near this Greater Southern region will benefit money? So that is something that I would like to go in depth with you as we identify and choose the right district for purchase. Then, okay, the second one, then when we choose the right district for purchase, we will also identify the projects within the district. Okay, for me, I'm always very conservative. When we choose a project within that district, I will always make sure to my clients that we purchase something not only that you like, but something that we don't pay the highest within the district. So when you are paying something that is the highest within the district, in my opinion, you will always be helping others create a new high. So I'll always come in with something that we know is competitive within the district and the project within the district. And the last protection that I have when it comes to narrowing down to choosing the right unit, the right facing, the right layout for the project, that is where the peers comes in. we want to use your neighbor to help you make money, not you making your neighbor rich. Okay, because the kind of unit that we choose in a specific project will determine the dollars and cents later on when we exit. So with this three-tier protection, the calculated risk is very minimum, especially when my customers make a choice unit, considering this three-tier protection. So for those who have taken down notes, I hope this is useful for you to identify, okay, to choose the district, the project, then finally the unit of choice within the project. So I've covered all this gap method right now. Throughout the next, let me see how much time I have covered. Oh, wow, time flies, about 45 minutes already. Very good. Thank you for continuing to stay with me. There's more that I want to cover. By the way, stay on. Later on, we will also be giving you the PDF book, the PDF page for the gap method that you can use it as a summary to implement onto your own asset. So just to do a quick recap, this decision-making framework, we use it a lot on many clients to create generational wealth, not only in terms of buying one or two properties, but over the past 13 years. I'm very glad that this has really benefited a lot of clients, that they also continue to refer clients to me. So really very grateful for the support over these years. And as of now, I just want to show of hands, how much do you all understand about this gap method? And for the goal part, how many of you all know that if you fail to identify your asset model, it can affect your future planning? And for you all who are on the webinar right now, have you heard about this 5 CPF method and this three-tier protection? Maybe let me know, if you have heard about all this, let me know yes. If not, just let me know no, then no problem. Because we might be coming up with a second seminar for those who missed this one. If you find this useful, you can always refer it to a friend later on if once we decided when is the date for the next seminar. Otherwise, please just pay attention for yourself and benefit as much as possible and learn as much as possible from today's session. So, okay, at least let me know on the ground how much you all can understand the section so far. Okay, so I just want to summarize that from today's sharing, I hope that you all have at least identified which asset model that you belong to, so that we can move forward and become better. And these three types of models that we have developed, okay, most importantly is also to let you see that it fits into almost every family. And maybe one type that I haven't shared, for those who haven't buy your first property purchase, no problem. Feel free to understand more about your own end game too, because with your end game in mind, it will be easier for you to decide what property you want to buy today. Because there are some case studies which later I'll share with you lah. Some case studies of some clients, okay, which made some impulsive decision that got them into, they got stuck in property. So the model that I use, it can be a hybrid model as well. Remember that the 5 CPF and the three-tier protection they are all focused on helping you protect your asset and for you to plan for your mid to long term for the best for your family. So the good case studies that I shared for those like Mr. Wong, who bought the right private property class when he first entered property, and when he bought the private properties, the 2 private properties over the past 8 years, today he leveraged on it to move into his landed, and right now he's planning for another condominium as an investment. So these are some good case studies when you start to apply the gap method with an end game in mind. And today there are many clients also, if initially they wanted to buy a freehold Geylang properties for rental, and I managed to show them the gap method, and right now they are happily the owners of an integrated development new launch that has easily much more potential, and they don't have to stress about the rental and the progressive payment that's so easy to manage that they still have so much reserve funds for them to plan for their second property. So these are just some of the good case studies that I want to share with you all, that they continue to work with me. Of course, when I do good for the clients, I call them, they pick up my call, then happy, like, hey, Paul, how are you? So I want to be there, because happy clients are living testimonials. Because today, when your property appreciate, I want to be the one to call you and say, hey, look, there's opportunity here. Let's continue to explore what's possible in the market to upgrade. And of course, all that is well, but not all is all bed of roses. because there are clients whom I advise them, and of course, nothing wrong. They have their own opinion and ideas. Like for example, the Toguan unit that I recently, last couple of years back when I sold, he bought at a high of 850,000. This buyer came in, he saw my advertisement, he called, and I asked him, look, Michael, today you know that you're buying a 800 plus thousand Toguan HDB flat with probably about 60 years lease left, 70 years lease left. Do you have any idea if you are going to put in? He said he wants to put in 200,000 for the renovation. So do you have any idea when you put in 200,000 for the reno, next time it might be challenging for you to sell a HDB at a million plus? And he's aware, and he tell me that, look, Paul, I'm not someone who wants to make money from property. I just want to buy my property the way, the size that I like, the location that I like, put in the renovation to my own taste and live there forever. Sound familiar? Nothing wrong with that. But I just hope that when the HDB reaches MOP, he continues to have stable income. And when he wants to sell, I hope that the property doesn't lose too much money. Because there are clients also who comes to me and ask me how. I bought this property at a high price right now. I want to sell. I'm in debt. Can you help me not make a loss and sell the property? And these are case studies that we could have prevented from the start, because some of these clients, they only call me after that when they bought it through someone else, and they found my advertisement and my referral and testimonial. They come to me for help. Of course, I will do my best to help. But today, as you are listening, why get into such a situation when the very first moment today we can prevent this from happening? So that's what I always say, prevention is better than cure. But property is a property, it's a home that you want to stay. But it's not only a home, it could be an asset, a wealth vehicle that can help you retire earlier if you choose it wisely, applying the GET method. So now that you know this, what's next, right? So, okay, you have known the GET method. Okay, Paul, I read down all these notes. Thank you so much. Wow, for the past 45 minutes, I read down so much. So what's next? I think what's more important is today that you learn. I congratulate you for learning as much as possible. And you have come to a realization that we do not want to just focus on buying a property when we are ready. Because it has no meaning when you want to buy a property, you focus on the property, you focus on how much the property can help you make. And there are mistakes that I personally made when I was irrational and bought my second property, a resale property, and I realized my family needs. We eventually didn't move in. We ended up renting out the property, and yeah, we every year to year we ended up paying for repairs of the aircon, leakages, toilets, furniture that's wear and tear. There's a lot of additional cost that we hope that if we can turn back the clock, we could have planned better and not made that property purchase. So thinking that my plan would not change. In fact, my plan changed because initially wanted to send my kids to this school and we eventually changed the school, but we ended up committing to the property earlier. So all this could have been prevented with proper planning. Yeah, of course, I planned it all by myself. That was my mistake. So what I want you today to remember and to embrace is let's focus on setting the path first. Talk to a professional to have your end game clear. So when you focus on all the options that you can exit later on, the family, the life, and long term, everything all just falls in place because asset progression today exists only to give you more options, not to limit your choices. So when you apply and take action onto the GET method, it only gives you clarity and options so that we can plan our property journey easier. So once again, thank you so much for those who are still tuning in. Thank you very much. I know it's a very long, it's an hour plus webinar because we couldn't cut it shorter. All these details that I had to share with you cannot be compromised. And once again, I want to share with you that I am someone who walks the talk, and I will never recommend any property to you that I do not personally believe has potential. And for the past 13 years, I reiterate again, my clients have been walking with me on this journey, and their first to their third property and beyond, I'm still here with them. And this is the pride that I have in this profession that I do. And If you feel like you needed a guidance right now, someone to hold your hand, to walk with you, or maybe even to speak to your partners about the concept, the idea that you have, a different end game that both you and your partners have. Let a professional come into your picture to guide you, to give you advice how you can both align the right end game so that you can apply the gap onto your situation. So I'll be more than happy to take a Zoom call with you all. In fact, as we speak right now, there are customers who come in during this circuit breaker season, pattern alert season, to have Zoom's consultation with me where I can go through the goal model, the goal, the asset, and the three-tier protection with you all over a Zoom. Staying safe at home over a Zoom session. And I highly encourage that you, if you do have a partner that you're planning to purchase or upgrade a property with, please get them together onto the Zoom call together with me. So I'll be more than happy to go through in detail, step by step, as much as possible over a 25-minute Zoom call to just cater the right session for your case. So there's a Zoom link there. Take a look at the Zoom link there. So my team will be copying the Zoom link inside the group chat so that when your Zoom link is ready, you can just click and register your Zoom link quickly. So because there's the circuit breaker is really making a lot of people staying at home. So there's a lot of Zoom call that I take on, but usually I will take on less than 3 or maximum 4 per day because it requires time and planning. Whenever someone registers a Zoom call with me, I still need to do uh, preparation work to plan for their asset before I propose something to them. So in this 25-minute Zoom call, if you register with me, I will go through the property selection model with you, the GAP model, which consists of the CPF, the 5 CPF framework, the three-tier protection. And also I will go in depth, okay, as much as possible. Is this the right time to purchase or to sell? How is the market looking like for you? For those who have only seen the news, do you know what's really happening on the ground? As me and my team of close to 20 knows and transact properties every day on the ground, we have something inside for you that the news do not share with you. And also that we have our own internal network of private listings that if you do fit the criteria, I will share some of these private listings with you all that is not advertised inside the market. And some of them are even undervalued for you to consider if your GAP model is ready. So I do not want everybody to be registering because I think we really want to limit our Zoom calls to only those people who are qualified. Okay, having said that, don't to worry, we will give you a PDF bonus book later on at the end of the seminar. And for those who want to stay in touch, there will be also contact for you all to stay in touch with me later on. But today, for those who want to register for the Zoom call, okay, I just want to invite those people who are already clear about which property model that they are in, and you have a desire to upgrade and to retire early. And most importantly, after the Zoom call, you are committed to take action after going through in details. Okay, so this is only for those people who are ready and committed. Okay, so I really look forward to see you in the Zoom call because this is a high fidelity Zoom call. There will be nothing that I'm going to sell to you. Okay, there's no properties I'm selling you today. In fact, throughout the next 25 minutes Zoom call for those who registered, there might not be any property that I may recommend to you as well. But if you do want, I can recommend, but there will be no selling. There will be no pushy sales as well because the objective of this call is only to help you pick the right asset progression model for yourself and to integrate the GAP model. End of the day, you want to buy or not to buy with me, it is still entirely up to you. Completely no obligation. There are property courses out there. We do know that charges up to thousands. In fact, with zero money down, how can you buy 2 properties with no money or zero payment? How do you sell one and buy 2 properties and upgrade today? You can retire comfortably. And all these courses, I mean, some of them are good because personally, I've attended some of them. I don't represent any of these courses. Of course, it's always good to learn. But today, you want to learn from someone who has walked the talk, who is a licensed professional, and most importantly, continue to be there for you after you buy the property. And this is very important because the stress of owning or buying a property, exercising the property, and completing the property. All these have different levels of stress. And today, if I'm a consumer, I want a licensed professional. I mean, licensed professional as in someone who is a licensed real estate person authorized by the government in terms of CEA to guide me and to advise me and to walk with me throughout this entire property journey. And for those who attended today, I am more than happy to share more in-depth knowledge with you, one-on-one, through the Zoom call. Yes, $0. No obligation. You don't buy anything from me. Entirely up to you. The choice is all in your hands. Okay, with that, the Zoom link is inside the group chat. Okay, I'm committed to you. I have been committed to my clients for the past 10, 13 years, and I want to continue to be committed to you all for the next 10 years and beyond before I retire, because I myself am still walking this property asset progression journey for my family too. So thank you very much. The clients who have followed me throughout all these years, the commitment really comes in not from what I say, but from all the clients that have known me throughout. These testimonials don't come in just today. There are many professionals out there who want to walk with you all. And personally, I think I want to work with a professional that has walked the past 10 years with clients and have proven results and will continue to work with me for the next 10 years. Because today, okay, as someone who has been in the industry for quite some time and who is still walking the talk, I want to build long-term friendship with you guys. For those who are ready, who are committed, please click that button, engage the Zoom call, register, and I hope to see you on the Zoom call with you in person. Thank you very much. I hope that in the last 60 minutes, I've shared something that has not been shared before, because for those who make time to come in this evening to attend this Zoom call, to attend this webinar, it is really very precious. It's very encouraging for me to see so many of you still on the webinar right now. And more importantly, take action. If you have learned something, if you have taken down notes, take action and stay with us. There is a PDF book that we still want to send to you later on at the end of the seminar. Okay, with that, the market is buoyant, the market is positive. Having said that, should we just jump in just because the market is positive, or because my friend and who is so buying, I just want to buy because everybody is doing so? Is that the right approach? Because today you have learned the gap method. You know that without clarity of the gap method, there are higher risks just entering the market with your eyes covered blind. Thank you very much. So I will be taking on some questions later on in the Q&A. So I just want to share this disclaimer that, you know, the ultra net worth, they have a great vehicle for wealth accumulation. So can we as the average Singaporean replicate this for ourselves? Now that you see this gap model, we can use this gap model to kickstart our very first, second, or even third property right now. Because today, what they did is not something dissimilar. It's just that they have their gap model clear, they have the end game in mind, and they are very confident of the real estate vehicle in Singapore for them to grow their asset. Okay, and I think it's important also that you have a trusted friend and mentor as your advisor, someone who has your family best interest at heart. End of the day, you decide when is the right time to take action. It's all in your hands. You have the gap method right now. The gap method is in your hands. You already know in details how to use it, when to use it, and who to use it for. Okay. Thank you very much. And for those who want to register, please continue to do so and register on this Zoom call and the link here below. Okay, let me just take some questions right now. Okay, right now is the Q&A. For those, I see some questions inside the group chat. For those who want to take some questions, please, you can feel so type inside the group chat, then I will answer them as much as possible. Thank you. I see, okay, no questions for today, no problem. Stay with us. Okay, there will be some questions. Stay with us because I want to take some questions that some of my team also have, because my team is also listening in right now. They are learning along the way as I conduct this webinar, because I've been conducting this webinar for the past couple of years. Today, we are just going fully in depth in details of the gap method, very clear and specific gap method that we can help you to integrate your model of property selection. All right, thank you very much. I'm done for today. By the way, I am not asking you to buy anything today. I just want you all to just connect with me over a Zoom call, because for me as a licensed professional, I handle private resale evaluation. I do landed and HDB condo upgrade as well. I also help you to analyze new launch and also to plan asset planning. That is our area of specialty. Okay, that is my wife here. Okay, she's also is an asset planner. She's also a real estate agent here. Together, I'd like to believe that we are make very good couple team, although we sometimes have differences in terms of our view towards property. But the GAP model has helped us align our family values very well. So really thankful for having a very proper structured method into our life for us when we choose the property. Okay, with that, I end my seminar and I'll pass back to my team where he will be sharing with you all some gifts that he want to give you all. So with that, he will give you a full PDF of the GAP method by email. For those who want to register, please continue to stay tuned and register with us by the link here. Also, you can follow Paul on social media with the various social media platforms like email, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, or just hashtag people above property. You will be able to find Paul online, or just hook up with him, link up with him anytime. Okay, with that, I will leave the link open and please continue to register with Paul. And thank you very much for attending this session and register for your PDF page of the GAP method. Thank you very much.